Meral, bottom of Yudal on the base. The last thing we did, we were discussing that there are different Shmona Nevi'im that came from Rachav Azona. We said they also came from Yoshua because Yoshua married Rachav Azona, and then interestingly, I didn't mention Tosas as a kasha that how could Yoshua marry Rachav Azona? Rachav she lived in Canaan. She was from Canaan. You can't marry from Canaan. So Tosas says that she was really just an immigrant. She wasn't from Canaan. She was an immigrant. Okay, says the Gemara. Bishlama inu mefarshi. It's good. The Psukim speak about 4 sons or grandsons, and then it speaks about the father or grandfathers of those 4 Nevi'im. So, Frek the Gemara, we have a certain amount of people that we know were Nevi'im. Yirmiyah, Rashi speaks out. Chanamel was a Navi, and Baruch was a Navi. Saraya was a Navi. Those 4, we have Psukim where there were Nevi'im. But the other 4, who were Neriah, Machseah, Chilkiah, and Shalom, so that we don't have Psukim for. They were the parents. Saraya was actually a grandfather of Machseah, but I'm saying they weren't the Nevi'im themselves. That's going to be Gemara's kasha. Bishlama inu mefarshi. It's good. The first 4 that I just mentioned, that Rashi said, Yirmiyah, Yirmiyah, Chanamel, Baruch, and Saraya, those 4 mentions in the Psukim. Elavasayu minol, and how do we know that? What? That their father or grandfather were Nevi'im. Says the Gemara, Kedula Damar Ula Kol Makam Sheshmo Shem Aviv B'Nevios. That anytime we mention someone and his father in regard to the Nevios, in regard to the prophecy, B'Yodua, we know Shu Navi ben Navi. We know that he's a Navi, the son of a Navi. Okay, Shmo V'lo Shem Aviv. If it mentions the father's name and not his, the Navi's name and not his father, B'Yodua Shu Navi V'lo ben Navi. We know that he's the Navi and not the son of a Navi. Shmo, we had it earlier with Chazon Yeshayo ben Amotz, when we're speaking about that Tamar was Zochet to Nevi'im, so they speak out that why is it Nevi'im? Because Chazon Yeshayo ben Amotz, they were both Nevi'im. Okay, so it says like this. The Gemara goes on. If it says Shmo v'Shem Yiro, if it mentions a Navi and the name of a city, Mephora, straight out, B'Yodua Shehu, so that we know in such a case, Shehu Navi Me'osoir, that he's a Navi from that city. He sticks in the Bach Navi. The Marsha says that he was born in that city. Shu Navi Me'osoir, it fits in, same thing. Shu Navi Me'osoir, that he was born in that city. Shmo v'lo Shem Yiro, if it mentions the Navi and doesn't mention his name, it's the name of his city, B'Yodua Shu Mishlayim. This proves to us, Jacob, that he was from where? From Yerushalayim. B'masni Satana, we learned in a Brisa. A similar type of thing. Kol shemaisav stumin umaisav osav stumin. If we don't know much about this Navi and his father's actions and his actions, uparla kasabechem mehem, and then the pasuk speaks out one of them lishvach in regard to a good thing. Kigon, for instance, like it says in Tzefania, it says Devar Hashem Asher Hoya El Tzefani Ben Kushi Ben Gedalia. That the word of Hashem came to Tzefani ben Kushi Gedali, that's a good thing, that's a shvach. Yodu Shu Tzadik ben Tzadik. We know that he's a Tzadik, the son of a Tzadik. Now, we said earlier, it's speaking about Nevi'os, so they're even bigger, they're a Navi, but this is a different Brisa, a different Manda Amar, that he's telling us that it's a Tzadik ben Tzadik. Does he hold that he's a Navi also? I'm not sure. If we mention people, Lignai, and we mention their fathers, Kigon, for instance, Vayhi b'chodesh Hashvi, it was in the 7th month, Ba Yishmael ben Asani ben Alishama, and he killed Gedaliah, B'Yodua Shu Rasha ben Rasha. We know that the Rasha, the son of a Rasha. I missed, we left off, I'm sorry, the bottom of Yudalid. I did not say that bottom line. I started from the top, but I think last week I ended by the bottom. The Gemara has a kasha on the bottom line. If you could just look, Umi alav leizar Yeshua. Did Yeshua have children? When it's listing the sons, it goes Nun, Bino. Nun was his son. Yeshua Bino, Shua is his son, and then it stops. So you see, Yeshua had no sons, so they had no children. So the Gemara says, Banai Lohavi, he didn't have sons. Lo Havale, he didn't have Benos and Havale. He did have daughters. Okay. Sakti Gemara for weiter. Amar Rav Nachman, Malachi zeh Mordechai. We know the famous Chag is Chayir Malachi, right? So the Gemara is now saying Malachi is Mordechai. Malachi, why was he called Malachi? Shu Mishnah Lamel, he was secondary to the king. The Maharsha explains, and therefore he was so important, he was like a Malach. The 12th graders didn't understand that so much. He's so important, he's like a Malach. Okay. Meisvei, I'll ask you a kasha on this, on Rav Nachman. You're telling me that Malachi was who? Malachi was Mordechai. We're going to bring down a brisa that says, list Malachi and Mordechai. Baruch ben Neriah, Usuraya ben Maseya, Daniel. It's listing different people that had Nevuah during their Yavish Hasheni. Baruch ben Neriah, Usuraya ben Maseya. The Gura changed it to Machseya, Udaniel and Daniel, Mordechai and Mordechai, Bilshan and Bilshan, Chagai, Zechariah, Malachi. So you see that Mordechai was not Malachi. Kula Nisnavnu B'Shtashnaim L'Yavish. They all had Nevuah in the times of the second their Yavish. Rashi explains before the Gullus, before the Beis Hamikdash was being rebuilt, it had stopped. The Beis Hamikdash had stopped for 18 years, and they had Nevuah that it should start to be being built again. Tiyufta, so we have a Tiyufta, it's a refutation on Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman says that Malachi was Mordechai. Tanya, we learned in a Brisa, Rabbi Shua ben Karcha. Rabbi Shua ben Karcha says Malachi is Ezra. Malachi is Ezra. He is mentioned as called Malach in Tanakh. So Malachi is Ezra. V'chachamim omer Malachi Shmo. No, Malachi was Malachi. Rav Nachman says, wants to bring a proof. Rav Nachman, who is the one that was refuted before, Rav Nachman says that Rav Nachman, Mistaber command Amar Malachi zu Ezra. I want to bring a proof, like the one that says Malachi is Ezra. Why? Malachi. It speaks in regard to the Nevuah of Malachi. It says like this. It says, Bagda Yehuda. Yehuda has rebelled, V'toeva Nasasa B'Yisrael, and he's done a Toeva in Klal Yisrael, B'Yishalayim, and in Yerushalayim. Kichil Yehuda Kodesh Hashem, because Yehuda has profaned the holiness of Hashem. Asher Ohev, that he loved, Ubal, and he lived Bas El Nechar, with the daughter of a foreign, someone that was a guy. Uman, now, this was a nevuah of Malachi. Uman Afresh Nashim Nachrios. Who is the famous person in Tanakh that separated Nashim Nachrios, that he makes sure that people separated from foreign women that they married? Ezra. That was Ezra. We're going to see why. So therefore, if we say that Malachi has a pasuk like that, in the pasuk Malachi says that Klal Yisrael did something terrible, that they married foreign women, and we know that Ezra was the fighter of such a topic, the Siv. Vayan Shachanya ben Yechiel Ibnei Elam Vayomer LaEzra. They said to Ezra, "Anachnu ma'anu belokeinu." We went against Hashem. V'noshav, and we took Noshim Nachrios. And the pasuk goes on to say that Ezra told them how to get rid of them. So we see that they have the similar concepts of Malachi and Ezra, and Ezra's called a Malach. So between the two, Tan Rabban. Arba Noshim Yefefiyos Hayu Ba'olam. There were 4 beautiful women in the history of the world, the 4 most beautiful women. Who were they? Sarah, Rachav, Abigail, and Esther. There was Sarah. In our gear, so you have to switch it because Rachav came first. Rachav, Abigail, and Esther. Ulamandamar Esther Yurak Rokos Haisa. According to Mandamar, it says she was Yurak Rokos. She was green and not pretty. Haisa Mapik Esther. Haisa, she was. Mapik Esther, take out Esther. Uma'al Vashi and stick in Vashi. Not Vashi was number 4 or 5. Tanarabanim, we learned in a brayso. Rachav b'shma zinsa. Just by her name, when someone mentioned the name of Rachav, that caused a desire for znus. Yal b'kola, Yal from listening to her voice. Avigail b'schirasa, Avigail by remembering her caused this desire, a lustful desire. Michal bashal b'riyasa, Michal bashal just by seeing her. Rabbi Yitzchak said, Kol Omer Rachav Rachav miyad nikri. That anyone that says Rachav Rachav right away has miyad nikri, becomes a keri, has a seminal experience. Amle Rav Nachman, Nothing happened to me. I said Rachav Rachav and nothing happened to me. Amalei said back to him, Kika Amina, when did I say that happens? Biyodum Akira, only someone that knows her and recognizes her. Then it happens. Mordechai Yodas Kol Asher Nasa, the Megillah continues, Mordechai knew everything that happened, that Haman and Achashverosh made this deal. And he went out and he was Zaka, and he cried out, Zaka Gedolu Mara. My Omar, my, what did he cry out? See Rashi for a second. My Omar, Rashi says, when he cried out, Zaka Gedolu Mara, my Omer, what did he say? B'tzakotzo. Rav Omar, Rav says, Gava libo shel Haman me Achashverosh. Haman's lave is more arrogant than Achashverosh because Achashverosh was scared, Shemo libo, says Rashi, to do anything. And Haman said, let's do it. Ushmuel says, Gavar Malki Law mi Malka Tata. Mordechai was crying out that the Malki Law, that the upper world, the upper Melech, Hashem, was stronger than the lower Melech. Rashi explains that really means the opposite. Is just a nice way of saying that Achashverosh is going against Hashem. Then it says when Esther heard that Mordechai was crying out, and when in the morning, Vatischalchal Amalka, that Rashi says, what is Vatischalchal? Nismasemes Halal Gufa, that her body, the inside, the cavity of her body became melted in some way. Like she lost her abilities in some way. What does that mean? Mai Vatischalchal. What does it mean Vatischalchal? Amar Rav Shapir Sanida. She became a nida. She needed bowel movement. She didn't have control over her bowel. Vatikra Esther lasach. Thank you. Vatikra Esther lasach. And Esther called out Tasach. Vatikra Esther lasach. Esther called Tasach to give over a message to Mordechai. Amar Rav Hasach zu Daniel. Hasach was Daniel. Why was his name called Hasach? Shechatchul Megillah. So Rashi explains he was cut down from his Gedula in the times of Belshazzar. Their Yavesh Korish, he had a very high position. He was cut down. Chatach, he was cut. Shmuel Amar Shekol the opposite. Shekol Divrei Malchus Nechtachin Al Piv. All the things of the kingdom were decided through him. He had a high position. Says then Esther sent a message to Mordechai. What's happening? Why are you mourning? Is it possible? She wanted to know Ladas, to know Mazeh, Val Mazeh. What is it for? And what is happening? And what is it happening for? And what's this double expression? She was asking Mordechai, Amar Rav Yitzchak, Sholchala. She was sending the Shema over Yisrael, Chamishim B'Shei Torah. She was hinting that maybe Klal Yisrael was over. They transgressed the Chamishim B'Shei Torah, Dichsib Bohen, that it says regarding the Torah. It says regarding the Aseret Sadiros, Mizeh Ksuvim, that the Aseret Sadiros were written on both sides. You could read it from both sides. You remember that, Moshe? You could Mizeh Ksuvim. They were written from both sides, so that was a hint to that they were transgressing the Aseret Sadiros, meaning transgressing the Torah, because that represents the whole Torah. Vayagidu l'Mordechai es divrei Esther. They told Mordechai the words of Esther. Who's they? Hasach was what? One person. Who's they? The ilu lo azol l'gabei. Hasach didn't go to him. Why? Mikan. From here we see she'em yeshivan al kakala, that you don't go back and answer al kakala, messed up shlichus. Mordechai had asked Hasach to give the message to Esther. I'm sorry. Right, that Esther has to go to Achashverosh. Esther was sending a message back to Hasach that she's going to get killed. To Mordechai, she's going to get killed. So Hasach said, "I'm not bringing back the message." Eim yeshivan al kakala. You don't answer back that you didn't fulfill the shlichus that you were sent. Leichanos is called Yehudim. So Esther said, "Go gather all the Yehudim." And she said, "V'tzumu olai, and fast for me." And then she said, "I'll come. That's how I'll come to the king of V'chein avo al melech ad asher lo kadas," which is not the normal way. Says the Gemara. What do you mean she's going to go to the melech in which wasn't the law? What asher lo kadas was not the law. It wasn't the regular way. Amar Rav Abba shelo kadas haya shelo kadas. Shalokadas kol hayom v'yom haya shebachol yom v'yom ba'onis. Every time Esther went to Achashverosh, she was ba'onis. V'achsa baratzon, one of the saddest, maybe perhaps the saddest part of the whole Megillah. Arachsha ba'onis v'achsa baratzon. Now she had to go baratzon. V'kasher avaditi. that now I'm lost from Mordechai, because we know that if she went willingly, so she was now going to live with Achashverosh every time she went. And now she would be usher, because she went willingly, she'd be usher on her husband, because the Ashes Ish that lives with someone else willingly, she's usher on her husband. Kishem Shavati mi Beis Abba, just like I was lost mi Beis Abba from my father's house, Kach Oved Mimcha, just like I'm lost from my father's house, that I never knew my parents, or I'm lost from the Jews. It's a question. Kach Oved Mimcha, so too now I'm lost from you. The only thing I have left is my husband. Now I'm lost from my husband. Vayavar Mordechai. I think we should stop here. No, what time is it? The right time? Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. Shkach for coming. Shkach.